I work inside of, coaching, personal development, and a whole host of things that at times I myself have struggled with because of part of what you ask in the question.
Right.
I am someone who I think as a brand, I hate to say that I'm a brand, but like as an attempt to try and be consistent online, has always represented the very much work in progress nature of who I am.
Yep.
My first book was called Get Out of Your Own Way. It was 20 chapters of shit that I did that I'm not proud of, and what I learned from being human in my attempt to be a better one.
Right.
And the hope in approaching this work with some vulnerability and transparency that shares, yes, the insights and the learning of, yeah, I grew up and worked inside of this business, or I have the, but also I made these mistakes, or I still struggle with this, is an invitation for someone who I'm attempting to help see themselves in my own stories and connect us in shared experience of being messy, because that's human. And so the thing I think that is tough for someone who works inside of this business is that there are people that are only representing how awesome they are, or it is, when you embrace their 5 points, do these 5 things in the morning, do these 3 things for your routine, and aren't necessarily sharing what it feels like when things get dark, when anxiety pops up, when they don't feel motivated, when they reach for a negative coping mechanism, when they have a breakdown in some kind of interpersonal relationship or communication. And so I do think that, like, one, I will say, like, I have struggled myself in believing at times that because of how much a work in progress I still am, that I can even add value to someone in a coaching environment or in writing a book or whatever it might be. And I've come to just flip that completely on its head, because it's because of, in some respects, the willingness to share the messy, the ridiculous, the embarrassing, the stuff I have shame for, the way that I'm still working, that maybe makes my journey a thing that is a little more relatable, approachable. Not to say that I've got it figured out. I'm never going to have it figured out. I will be working on figuring it out till the end. And my hope, or the way that I might approach growth, is that I'm just a little bit better tomorrow than I was today, that I'm just a little bit better the day after that. But even all of those days from now, at the end of my life, I'm still not going to be at a place where I have figured it all out, because nobody figures it out. And if there is, I think, a little bit of a risk in this business, the person who's representing that they figured it all out, they're full of shit. And they're selling you something that is ultimately unattainable, and in its unattainability will make you feel badly for being human when they are representing that they are, but are not actually showing you the full picture of what it means to be human.
Oh man, Dave, it's funny. Society really loves that ideal, don't they? I mean, and this isn't casting aspersions in any particular direction. I'm a pretty direct communicator, but you see it in everything. You see it when people talk about, like you mentioned, the morning routines, or it's always popular for people to talk about, hey, if you take this supplement, or you do this, or you treat your body this way, or you treat your relationships this, everybody's got an answer, don't they? And the world loves positive fluff. All what the world wants is really this rule book of saying, if you do these things, success is guaranteed. And it's not, because we live in the gray area, especially in today's world. And the reality is success is fleeting. But the idea of, like, that's what you want to wake up, do these 5 things every day, take these supplements every day, have your entire life orchestrated. Well, guess what? The funny thing is if you did that, inherently in the complex, chaotic nature of today's world, you're actually increasing your chance of failure, because there's no script to life, right? There isn't. And so it's funny, it's like in science, the more myopic somebody gets to try to figure out and research cause and effect, the further away they get from understanding true complexity, right? They might understand that one piece, but we live in a world that the interactions between things matter. And also, just to speak to your part, I remember, in your book, Get Out of Your Own Way, you had said it is possible to get out of your own way, but that requires, what was it? Deliberate attention and careful coordination of moving parts. That speaks to complexity. These moving parts, even if you work on an assembly line where there's certainty, well, shit's going to break down. And then that's how systems are improved. And so I've always I speak passionately about this. And I'm glad you brought it up, because it's the number one thing. Our tagline in our business is helping coaches and leaders, all kinds, navigate the messy realities of leadership. And inherently in that is life. But to do that, it's funny because sometimes I can seem like I'm mad at all these positivity experts, these people speaking in front of tens of thousands of people, just telling them to find their own path and believe in the power within. And it's like, holy crap. It's a dopamine hit. It is a sugar rush. And yet the world seems to want it.